A penny saved. I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said a penny saved is a penny earned. He used, the words were slightly different. As we know, living in North America with current tax rates, actually a penny saved is probably $1.33. Average tax rate is about 25%. So I think $1.33 minus 25% is about $1. So in business, a penny saved at a 5% net is 20 cents earned. There is a fabulous firm out of Brazil called 3G Capital. They purchased Burger King, I think it was in 2010. They paid $4 billion for Burger King. At the time, it was doing $2.5 billion in sales. They took it private, and 2 years later, they put it back on the market. So it had gone from $2.5 billion in sales. Sales went down 50%. Sales went down 50%. So sales are now 1.2 to 1.5 billion. And their $4 billion investment doubled. So here's an example where they literally took the company, halved its sales, and doubled its profits. They chased every penny. These guys are the most famous organization to being able to take something over and looking at every single nickel. So you used to be able to they'd go into a corporate store, there'd be a fax, there'd be a copy machine. People were just running color copies. So no more. They chased every single nickel. And so therefore, if you wanted color, which is 30 cents versus 5 cents, you had to sign for it. They chased every nickel. They did the penny saved, and they followed everything along the lines. So if you've got a firm, let's say, just for round numbers, you're doing $1 million in sales, and it generates $50,000. That's a 5% return after all. Great. If you want to sell that business, depending on the business, it's 3 to 5 times that, right? Plus whatever assets it may have. But insofar as the value of the cash, that's what it's worth. Across many businesses, particularly retail, car businesses, restaurants, that sort of stuff, whatever your cash is, there's a ratio, they'll times it by the cash, right? And sometimes you have to develop real profits and figure it out. But for the most part, you give us a number and there'll be a ratio. Industry standards, basically throughout the world, it's 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, depending on the industry. Standard, great. So if you have a firm that's generating 50,000 on $1 million, if you want to double the equity and the value of your business, you can try to double sales to 2 million. Or you can find efficiencies and drive 50,000 to the bottom. And it's so much easier. It's so much more efficient. This is where innovation comes in, finding new ways to be able to do it. So follow the money. So I took over, a number of years ago, I took over a cheese store. I was a cheesemonger for a while. And it was losing money. I didn't know how much it was losing at the time. I was told it was one number. It turned out it was higher, but I just looked at all the costs. I did spreadsheets of hours and HR and that sort of stuff. So I noticed that we were ordering exotic cheeses from far places, and the staff was ordering $600 cheese with a $50 or $60 delivery charge, like 10-15%, sometimes higher. And I realized that the magic number for delivery cost was about 5%. So we didn't order anything, right? And then one day, we were doing a tasting. I built this long table that 30 people could sit. And we had a person who would come in regularly and go through the tasting notes. And I had someone else who was heading off to Staples and asked if he needed anything. And this person said, "Can you grab me a binder so I can put my tasting notes in?" I said, they looked at me for authorization. I said, "Go ahead." The person came back with some of the other staples that we needed, plus this binder. It was a $30 binder. I didn't know you could buy binders for $30. This was the most skookum binder. So I took the person aside and said, guys, I was expecting like a $2 binder, a $3 binder. It's just a binder. And I said, look, just so you know, I've got to sell $600 worth of cheese to justify that binder. So after selling $600 to cover the cost, only then do we start making profits on anything else. What do you think we should do? And the person says, return the binder? I said, yeah, return the binder, right? Because they just didn't know that's coming right from the bottom line. So when you get into the habit of following the nickels, it's amazing how you can tighten it up. Another business that was on one of the major streets, we're walking down. It's November. It's terrible out. Everything is closed. It's a Tuesday night in November, 8:30 at night. And this one guy I know who's got this business, he's open. So I walk in and I said, dude, why are you open, right? He's a nice guy. And he goes, well, we've always been open. Like, he didn't realize that he could actually close 2 hours before everybody else. There was no reason. Business in and of itself are brilliantly inefficient machines. So if you take the time, and it's often easier from an outsider to go in and find these inefficiencies. But if you use the principle, a penny saved is a penny earned, and you look at every nickel every year, you look at your rent and your telephone expense and all that stuff. For every nickel you save is like $1 at the cash. So if you can save $100 a month, it's like $2,000 in sales. It just, you have to understand, it's a 20-to-1 ratio. So go and do the math and look at every expense. And if you say it's only $1, it's not, it's $20. It's the same thing. So that 20-to-1 ratio, you really need to think about that.